The WINONA Sports Network welcomes you to Thunder Talk. Thanks to Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Get all the dirt from Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Direct from Dan Bailey.
Hey, race fans, welcome to another edition of Thunder Talk. Actually, the season-ending edition of Thunder Talk on the WINONA Sports Network, 99.3 FM, and, of course, streamed live online at WINONARadio.com. I'm Dan Bailey. Welcome to not only the season-ending edition of Thunder Talk, but this is episode 350. Can you believe that? We've been doing it for quite a while, and I appreciate everybody who tunes in and week out to get themselves up to date with another edition of Thunder Talk. Boy, we have a lot to talk about with this week's edition because, of course, a two-night special event at Mississippi Thunder Speedway starts this evening as night number 1 of 2 of the Great Pumpkin Races presented by Kick-Ass Beef Jerky, and we are welcoming something new back to the track. It hasn't been since 2012 since we have seen the bumper-to-bumper IRA 410 sprint cars at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. They are going to be there this evening, and we hope that you will be there as well to experience something, as they say, completely different. So I would like to welcome to this week's edition of Thunder Talk Steve Sinclair, who's going to reintroduce us to the bumper-to-bumper IRA Sprint Car Series and their return trip to Mississippi Thunder Speedway. So, Steve, first of all, thank you very much for joining us and welcome to Thunder Talk.
Thanks for having me.
It has been 12 years. You guys joined us at Mississippi Thunder Speedway in 2012, put on a whale of a show, but a lot has changed in 12 years. So let's talk some of the generalities first. I mean, the bumper-to-bumper IRA Sprint Car Series has been in action since the 60s. My goodness, quite a history with your series. Tell us, as fans and spectators in the grandstands, might we notice something different? If we were there in 2012 and we saw you guys compete, are we going to see or pick up on something that might be a little bit different with the IRA Sprint Cars now that we're into the 2024 season?
Well, I think we're going to be even faster than we were then. I'd be very surprised if the track record didn't fall. And we're at least, we kind of started out in southeast Wisconsin years and years ago in northern Illinois, and that's where the Interstate Racing Association, the whole IRA thing came from. We used to just cross the border over here by Lake Michigan, and now, heck, this year's schedule had us as far north as Grand Forks, North Dakota, and as far south as Sept, Indiana.
Wow.
So, we've got drivers from, I think, 4 states that follow us on a regular basis, and I think I have 5 or 6 states coming out tonight, and it's pretty exciting, So I'm going to guess there's at least a dozen guys with capabilities of winning if things go their way, and we got a good point race going. And it's going to be exciting.
So, I mentioned that, obviously it's been 12 years, and right here at Mississippi Thunder Speedway is not really hometown central for sprint car racing. We get to see them on TV or some of the streaming services, but for some of the fans who might be in the grandstands and maybe picking up their first, experience of sprint cars. So can you explain a little bit of the terminology there to introduce some of these new fans to the sprint car sport?
Sure. A 410 is basically that's the cubic inch of the engine. So this is the same as the World of Outlaws. Many of these guys that will be there tonight have competed with the Outlaws. As a matter of fact, I believe I think Bill Baylock might have won our race.
He did back in 2012.
He's a full-time World of Outlaw regular now. So, it's the same thing on a regional basis. When the World of Outlaws come to Cedar Lake or Beaver Dam or Wilmot, a lot of the field, half the field is our racers. So it's the same exact cars. Most of them come in semis. They're pretty impressive, and they're the fastest thing on short tracks. There's no doubt about it.
I know that every time we see, or at least every time that I see sprint cars on TV or the streaming services or in person, the thing that always kind of blows my mind, and maybe new fans as well, is the whole concept of this power-to-weight ratio, which is just bizarre, when you think about the world of stock cars that we see a lot here at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, and even modifieds. This is a whole new ball game, and that's why these guys are hauling the mail going so fast, right?
Yeah, 1,425 pounds with the driver. That includes the driver, and 900 horses. So
that's like strapping a jet engine to one of those little Red Ryder wagons that we all had as we were kids, or maybe even a big wheel or something like that.
Tire size, I think the tires are a little bit bigger than a late model as well.
Yep.
And then you throw the wing on, and if you look at the wing, it's got a taller panel on the left, which allows these guys to go into the corner a lot harder without lifting in many cases. So, the typical street car or even a late model or mod, when it gets to the corner, it's going to get on the right rear. Whereas sprint cars are actually, because of the wing, they're actually getting on the left side. So it's totally different.
I want to talk a little bit and a lot about the 2024 season that you guys have had with your bumper-to-bumper IRA series. But first of all, I want to maybe see if you can put us into the mindset of some of the drivers when you started discussions with bringing Mississippi Thunder Speedway back onto your schedule. Was there, I'm sure there were some drivers who responded, well, I've never been there, I don't know what to expect. Maybe there were a few that have been here in the past. So what's kind of been the thought process or the excitement level of your drivers thinking about coming to MTS this evening?
Well, everybody, nowadays, with YouTube and all that stuff, that they're all researching past races there, whether it be late models or whatever, on the internet to try and get an idea of a basic setup, so they're not totally lost when they get there and what they can compare it to. There's probably going to be only one or two drivers that race that last race, 2012. So most of them are going to be blind. They're not sure what they're getting into. I think I told a lot of them it's fairly similar to Deer Creek, and some guys have raced there over the years. They're looking forward to it. They know it's a nice facility. I've known Bob for a long time, Bob Tim, and he knows that we're out here, and I'm welcoming the fact that he reached out this year, and him and Tyrone, and we put a date together back in the spring. It rained out, and I'm very glad they're giving us another shot. And, it's championship weekend for us, too. So we're racing tonight, at your place, and then we're going all the way across the state to the east to Lake Michigan Shores in Plymouth, Wisconsin for our finale on Saturday.
Yeah, I was checking out the official website, irasprints.com, and this weekend is pretty impactful for your 2024 season. I mean, Scotty Thiel is looking for his first series title, so there's a lot riding on the line for these final two nights, which means that those of us in the grandstands are going to see these drivers pushing it just as hard as they can.
Yeah, so you got Scotty Thiel. He just can't let himself get in trouble, and I think he'll be okay. With Jake Blackhurst is a two-time champ behind him in second. But it was really cool if you look at the point standings. Third is only 1 point over fourth right now. Yeah. And then fifth is only 20 points behind them. So, and of the top five, three of them are past IRA champions. And they'll all be there. And, I'm guessing, we should have a full field. We start 24 in the feature. I'm thinking we'll have at least that. And again, drivers from 5 or 6 states, 5 for sure. And I'm thinking, I think Joel B. Miller, who's a very good racer, won our race earlier in the season at Angel Park. He comes out of Missouri. So I think this time of year, it's you never know who's going to drop in, to be honest with you.
When I was looking through your website and trying to gather, some information in preparation, not only for Thunder Talk, but also for the racing action this evening, one of the things that really sparked my interest was while looking through the standings, noticing just how many different drivers have been able to pick up a win this year, which would lead me to believe, as an outsider looking in, that you have not only an extremely competitive field of drivers, but you have, my goodness, it must be a rules package that is pretty near perfect, where it seems like everybody's got a chance. I mean, honestly, I was looking down past the top 20, and there were guys still winning features in the point standing. So very well distributed success through the group.
Yes. 410 racing is quite unique. 410 wing dirt racing, in regards to we can go anywhere. Our cars can race across from coast to coast, and the rules package is the same. And I credit the World of Outlaws for helping with that. So that we have 2 meetings a year. It's called the Sprint Council, and we have the top sanctioning bodies are involved in it, as well as tracks like Knoxville and stuff. And we get on the same page for everything. We're all on the same tire, the same wing size, everything. So there's, other than changing mufflers, from tracks that don't require mufflers like you guys, and we have to run mufflers on Saturday, there's really no changes that are being made. So we can go anywhere, and a lot of our winners, when you're going on that list, are guys that have only ran with us a handful of times. Some of them, they just drift in, Like I was talking about Joby Miller from Missouri. He's only raced with us probably 2 or 3 times this year, but he's a feature winner. And Max Guilford from New Zealand, I actually thought he was coming to race, and I just got the word last night that he hasn't healed back from an injury he suffered with the World of Outlaws, so he hasn't got a doctor's release yet. So we were a little international there for a while, too, with New Zealander.
So that's the strength of the whole 410 sport, then, is what I'm hearing you say, is that,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Drivers, car owners, they can kind of pick and choose and run around the nation and be comfortable with the fact that they're going to fit in wherever they end up.
100%. No major changes from place to place. So on the wing, there's a thing called the wicker bill. It's like the spoiler on the back of the wing. Mm-hmm. That's about the only thing anybody has to change, and they're all just on with a Zeus button anyway. So some places have a 1-inch. World of Outlaws are 1-inch. We allow up to 2. There's a couple of tracks in Ohio that allow up to 3. But again, it's a 30-second change, that you make, and all the teams have all the multiple sizes. And other than that, and the muffler thing, everything's the same.
When you talk with a dirt fan who may not be super knowledgeable about the sprint car world, somehow the discussion gets to the World of Outlaws. And this is nothing against the World of Outlaws, but I just wanted to ask you, what's the state of the sprint car world these days? I mean, it seems like I remember seeing pictures when I was a kid, way back in the 70s, and it was very healthy back then, and we're still seeing great attendance at sprint car events, and it seems to me that I keep seeing large full fields at events around the nation. Just your thought on the kind of the health status of the sport of sprint car racing these days.
I think it's really solid. Back in the day, everybody was just a 410. So now you've got 410s, you've got 360s, you've got 305s, you've got non-wings, so many different divisions of sprint cars. But the 410 thing is extremely healthy, and a lot of it comes from, NASCAR guys like Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, and now Kyle Larson have all come out of the sprint car ranks.
Yep.
And they're giving back. Most of them, Larson, when he's not sitting in a NASCAR, in a Cup weekend, during the week he's climbing in and out of sprint car.
Oh my goodness, he's become
he's really good at it.
Yeah, he's become like the people's hero. I mean, you just see him driving just about anything, and anytime you see him strapped into a sprint car, boy, the crowd just goes crazy, right? They love him.
And Tony Stewart's ran with us several times in the past. I know he's doing the drag racing thing now, but he even owned a sprint car series for a while that we would co-sanction with. Yeah, I think those guys have brought a lot of notoriety. You got the World of Outlaws, and then there's another national tour called High Limit. Mm-hmm. So the money available to the drivers is more than it's ever been. So you got really solid regional teams that'll drift in and run with these guys on occasion, and and come run with us on occasion as well.
A couple of minutes ago, you were telling us about how you were trying to relay some sort of concept of what Mississippi Thunder Speedway is like to your drivers, and you were trying to explain that it might be similar to Deer Creek, where they may have competed in the past, or maybe a Cedar Lake. But I'm curious, what sort of track seems to be best for sprint cars? Is it the smaller bull rings? Is it the big half miles? Is it bigger than half miles? Is it high banks, flats, or is it just anything everywhere that's a dirt track? You guys will go run on it.
Well, I think the racers prefer like a 3/8 with a little bit of bank and something that's wide, so they can pull sliders and stuff. I think they like a little bit of a cushion. I don't know that they like it necessarily right on the wall, but if you actually go to our Facebook page, you'll see our last race. It was unbelievable. And it was just a little quarter-mile high, bull ring at 141, Wisconsin, where Jordan Goldsberry, who drives the Rockstar Energy drink car, he'll be there. He's sitting third in points, where he actually went from third to first on one move in the corner, and they were sliding each other. It was fabulous. It actually was the Flow Sports Race of the Week.
Wow.
And it got a lot of recognition. So I recommend everybody checking that out on our Facebook page.
I was trying to explain to some individuals on another radio program earlier this week what to expect, because they had never been to a sprint car event, and they had never seen a sprint car event, even online or on TV. I said, imagine a fan who grew up watching asphalt racing, and you take them to a dirt track for a regular event, and they kind of get on the edge of their seat, and they can't believe how wild and woolly it is with, stock cars or late models or modifieds. Then take a fan who's a dirt track fan with the modifieds and the late models and take them to a sprint car event. It's almost the same because these sprint cars, they're so fast and they seem like they're always right on the edge of out of control or heading out to orbit. I mean, do you think did I take it too far, or is that kind of the way you think about it?
No, it's that way. There's definitely the speed creates drama,
Yeah.
and because as the race director, I'm up in the tower and I'm just circling around. I'm just waiting for somebody to get spit out. It's like you got a bunch of marbles slinging around something, and all of a sudden one flies away. It doesn't take much. I mean, when you really think about what is steering these things, one little radius rod, with a little rod end, is controlling the whole deal. It's kind of crazy, when you really think about it. And these guys can change front ends. Let's say they get one bent up. They go to the work area, and in a matter of 2 minutes, they can sometimes change a complete front end.
The other thing that I know that I've heard a lot of people say that they enjoy about sprint cars, the sprint cars still have a relatively open cockpit to the fans. You can see them just sawing on that wheel and battling that car, and it's easier to see the front wheels, moving as they are sawing on their steering wheel. So that tends to kind of up the ante for those folks in the grandstands who are watching it. You really get to see those drivers sawing at the wheel and trying to get that car as fast as possible.
Yeah, agreed. That is a pretty unique experience. The body panels are getting a little carried away nowadays. They're getting a little higher than we would like, especially on the right side. But it's just something different. I think the fans are really going to enjoy it. I think the speed is what we're selling probably the most. Not that modifieds and late models aren't really, really fast, but because of the wing and that our corner speeds are just, are just incredible.
Well, we are all looking forward to it, and it's been great to hear from you. And I know that Bob, Tim, and Tyrone Lingenfelter, owners and promoters at Mississippi Thunder Speedway, have been online passing along and conveying some of the excitement that they're hearing from you and your drivers who are going to be at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. So I think that has played into us all collectively getting excited about this return trip to Mississippi Thunder Speedway by the bumper-to-bumper IRA 410 Sprint Cars. Steve Sinclair, I sure do want to thank you for joining us this week on Thunder Talk. Any closing thoughts? Anything that's maybe got you a little excited about this evening at Mississippi Thunder Speedway or this weekend, your final 2 nights of the 2024 season?
Well, as much as you guys are hyping us, we're hyping Mississippi Thunder as well. Having been there, and ironically, my day job is I work for K&K Insurance. I insure all the racetracks across the country. Mississippi Thunder is one of my clients. So when I was there looking at it, a year or so ago, I noticed the differences from the last time I was there. I noticed the catwalk. Mm-hmm. I thought to myself, this looks like it's got more banking, and it just wanted to make me be there right now. So I am truly excited about bringing the guys back, and I think they're going to love it.
Well, again, Steve Sinclair, we sure do appreciate your time this week on Thunder Talk, and we cannot wait to see you and your drivers and your traveling circus at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. The bumper-to-bumper IRA 410 Sprint Car is going to be at Mississippi Thunder Speedway this evening only, Friday night, as part of the Great Pumpkin 2-night doubleheader, Friday and Saturday, presented by Kick-Ass Beef Jerky. We hope that you will all join us at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Remember, you can get all the details, starting times, etc., online at the official website of Mississippi Thunder Speedway, which is MississippiThunder.com. I would also suggest that you take some time to visit the official website of the bumper-to-bumper IRA Sprint Cars, which is IRASprints.com. Follow both of them on all of their social media efforts, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or wherever you like to check out your social media information. It's going to be a great time. And again, we are looking forward to seeing you this evening as night number 1 of 2 at Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Tune in next week for all the dirt from Mississippi Thunder Speedway with Thunder Talk on the WINONA Sports Network. Thanks to Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
Yeah, we're going to see a new track record, I guarantee it.